Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Oh my god. YouTube, you're killing me. Uh, I had this whole thing. Anyhow, I said it's the weekend. I was talking about how I don't even really like this one beer my coworker left over here, but I'm gonna drink it anyhow. Um, it's been a long day, man. It's Friday. We made it. We made it, boys. We made it to the weekend. Um, I I been I have been busy, man. A lot of phone calls this week, a lot of coding. Been working on video dev docs, having deployment issues left and right. Doing a little. It's so funny. Like reaching out to the DevOps dude. Hey, man, you got a second? Like, now, real quick. I got a question about my side project. Like, can you help me? Having a quick 10-minute conversation. It's like, no, no, no. It ain't about work, dog. I got a question about my side project. I need to answer because I've been stuck for 3 days on deployments. So it's been a good week, man. I caught up with Matt a little bit this week. Um, Glad to hear he's doing well. He's out there buying business after business after business. He's slaying the game. Um, whew. Got good news from LinkedIn Learning. They your boy's gonna be doing some courses with LinkedIn. I'm very excited about that. I wasn't sure if that was gonna happen or not. So this week for me, they came back. They said they loved my audition video. I said, baby, I know. I didn't say that, but I said that's great news. And I did a little shimmy, and I said, "Okay, cool, man." And so we're gonna get a syllabus together. Your boy's gonna fly second class or business. What they call casual class. Common. I'm gonna fly with the common folk. Down to LA sometime next year, early January, and film a couple courses, hopefully, if everything goes right. So that was good. I had some other business calls I can't talk about, and yeah, man, it's been good. I got to meet my boss this week, so that's always exciting. I like my boss. It's funny. I've been working for this company 4 months, but my boss works in Dallas, and fly him down here for a week. That's how you know you're working with a company that's balling. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, yeah, we're just gonna fly you every couple months around, so you can go hang out with your team. Baller, baller status. Um, not not every company will do that. So pretty cool stuff. Um, did a little bit of helping. It's so funny, man. So, um, about 4 years ago, I met 4 years ago. I went down to Portland, Oregon, with my brother, and I think I've told this story about how I was talking to this guy who was interested in coding, and he it cracks me up. We'll get to the topic of the day, which is my new favorite blog, but let's just this is equally as fun. So I was talking. So anyhow, I met this guy. It was uh, my brother's friend's boyfriend, and so we're out to dinner, having drinks, just having a good time. No, nothing crazy, right? And I'm talking about software. This and that. He said he was going to get into it. Anyhow. So this is now like 4 years later, um, and uh, he's still just getting going because he spent 2 years doing the associate web dev. And I was like, yeah, do you learn anything? He's like, no, man. It was like HTML, CSS. I didn't learn shit in 2 fucking years. I'm like, yeah, I know, man. You just, I don't know about you, man, but like whenever I know someone's gone, and bless him because he's grinding. He's grinding. He's doing the coding boot camp thing. I respect that. Especially you just put 2 years and all that money into an associate's program and you didn't learn dick. Like I knew the answer, what I mean? But I wanted to ask it because I can't help myself. As a two-time college dropout, I take a special pleasure in this. But yeah, so he reached out to me like at like 9 p.m. and probably he's been stuck on a bug for days, and I solved I solved it in about 5 minutes. But that's cracking me up. But yeah, I wanted to talk, and I'm gonna do a whole video about this, by the way, about every one of this dude's blogs, because what's his name? Yusuke? No, no, no. Igor. Igor, you're my new spirit animal, dog. So my buddy Igor here, Igor256.com. Shout out to him. he he loves to write satirical blogs that are all founded in truth. So this blog, it's called "How to Pay Programmers Less." And I said I gotta read this. And so let me. I don't want to give you too much, but like, so he has like little sections: keep salary secret, give raises randomly, no conferences, no work from home, spy on them, and it's like brainwash them regularly by communicating how great your company is. Instead of giving someone a raise, it's always better to buy a PlayStation for the office. And like, what's so sad and so funny is that so many developers can relate to the shit that's on here. I sent this to my boss. I sent this to my tech lead. I've loved everything about it. Oh my god, that's awful beer. Uh, how do you spell his name? YEGOR256.com. Anyhow, I'll share the article in chat for you guys right now because this guy's blog needs some love. He's, don't get me wrong, he's got 186 comments. People are loving this one thing, but then he has other things. So like, I love the satirical ones. He goes, how do you punish your employees? How to be a good office slave, and team morale, myths and reality. And they're like just satirical in nature and talk about sort of the craziness of corporate America at some of these companies. Um, cracks me up, man. But yeah, how is everybody? So this isn't about me. I always like talking about myself because I'm egomaniac. No, really just I like sharing what's going on with me so that you can have an idea what should be going on with you at certain points in your career, right? So, um, my boy Alex. So I've talked about Alex in some of the live streams briefly once or twice. My boy Alex, slaying the game, 18 years old. He makes. If you want to see a beautiful website, whew, let me see if I can. Whatthefunk.com. Alex, avid listener, avid follower of the goat, right here, or the dino, of the dino. But yeah, so he not only did my 100 technical interview question challenge, which cost him just $10, and after he did it, you know what started happening? He started moving along farther in the interview process immediately. And I quote when he sent me, "Hey, they were really impressed about how in depth I could answer questions." And that moved me along. And I contributed mainly to your course. I said, "Thank you for sharing that because I'm going to say that and try to sell some courses to people." But now, anyhow, we did a mentoring session and the course, and he's killing the interview game. And he's 18 years old, man. Built a full stack app. Whatthefunk.com. What'sthefunk.com. I'll throw it up in chat. I want to show some love. And the UI is beautiful. And the kid's been he's 18. I'm 31. I'm gonna call him the kid. The kid has won awards for his design, so he's out there hustling and getting interviews. I gave him some love on Twitter, and this app that he finished that's in beta, or not on Twitter, on LinkedIn. I shared it as well as his portfolio, or as well as like, hey, swoop him up, people. He's good. Got a couple hundred people to sign up for his application, which is like when you're trying to get like I'm sure he was stoked about it and he told me he was, but like I remember trying to get a couple hundred people to look at my shit. I barely get a couple hundred now. And it's like when you're getting 5 people to look at your stuff and it's hard, I understand, man. It's a grind. And so I'm just happy to help him out. But yeah, so we're doing another mentoring session tomorrow to get him prepped for that technical interview to make sure he goes in there and slays it. So I'm very proud of him because it's just hard work, man. 18 years old, killing the game. Oh man. So one thing I like to do is send some of my Florida buddies. So I used to work for a real estate company doing like their social media and stuff like that briefly and helping them out with some tech stuff. And they share listings in California for homes. And so I occasionally will see a listing. It cracks me up. I'll take a picture and send it to them. I was like, reminder as to why I'm not in California. 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,110 square feet. It's about 60 years old. $1.385 million. $1.385 million. If you think I'm joking, I'm not. And you see that? Uh, that might be hard to read on the screen. But that, you see that dinky house? Property is priced right and will sell quickly. And you know what's funny, man? They're probably right. They're probably right. It probably will sell quickly. My house is 2.5 times the size of that, brand new, and for the same price, I could buy 5 of them. 5. 5 houses of a brand new house that's 2.5 times the size, nicer, with a bigger backyard, bigger lot. I could buy 5 for the same price. Actually, no, I could buy. Wait, okay, let's see. 250. Yeah, 5. 5 plus. Oh my goodness. Where do I plan on moving once I'm done in Tampa? That's an interesting question. That might actually happen sooner than I realize. So location. Yeah, you all be broke up until. So here's the thing: is I'll eventually be able to buy a house wherever I want, like literally wherever I want, but not if I'm broke my entire life to save up. With all the recession talk, would it be a good idea to avoid going into tech right now? No, that would be a ridiculously bad idea. If you've looked at, so I recently saw a job statistic that although other industries are slowing down, the only industry that's continuing to not slow down and not be affected is tech. There's not a better industry to go into. Why do you think you'll be moving sooner than you think? I think it's a possibility. So my boss just told me I could do full remote. Um, and so I mean, I'm in Tampa. My office is in Tampa, but if I'm doing full remote, versus so I was doing 3 days remote, 3 to 4, depending on the week, usually 3. And he said to me that now that he's come down to see, is like, there's really no reason for you, and he's in a different state for God's sakes, uh, that we can do full remote. So, so do you think it's the sign of a bad company if I got an interview with no portfolio on a job posting at 6 months old? I mean, there are job postings that are old because they're still hiring. So like, if you're so I'll give you an example. My work is hiring 22 senior JavaScript engineers and 2 JavaScript tech leads. Which, by the way, I'm applying to one of the positions in 2 months. I told my boss, I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna swoop on that tech lead thing. I don't know if I'll get it, but I'm gonna try to apply for it and get that raise, get that money, get that career advancement. Um, but I have to wait till I'm 6 months at a company before I can change roles. But yeah, so um, it I would imagine that you shouldn't be too picky for your first role, Sir Beerus, Sir Burhots. But yeah, with me being able to work remote full time, and that's I say full time in the sense like I might have to go in for a meeting when like I went in for a meeting the other day, when the big bosses call and they say hey, I show up, like no questions asked, no. Hey, we have a meeting. Great, I go into the office. I don't care. You guys are giving me the freedom of a remote 95% of the time. I'll go in 5%. No questions asked. Like I don't even want like I want you to see me because I need to keep making money. And I want you to know Dylan's here. We like Dylan. Dylan's nice. Some people like Dylan. But yeah. But if that's the idea, then I might relocate sooner than later. Where would he move? Somewhere in the Midwest. Not on the West Coast, too expensive, but some place random in the Midwest that I could be a little closer to home. That's cheaper cost of living. A couple of areas that have come to mind have been Idaho, Utah, around there, someplace cold. Do I like working remote? Yeah. Um, I don't mind going into the office. I just mind the time it takes going into the office, and I hate traffic, man. It's one of the reasons I left California. The traffic in Tampa is pretty bad, to be honest with you. So I have to go 32 miles, and it takes me, with no traffic, 45 minutes. With traffic, the hour plus. I can't take it. I hate it. Um, but it's not too bad. It's doable. I think I saw the other day that the average commute is 28 minutes for an American. So I'm above average. That's right, above average. I'm above average commute. So, but yeah, so that's cool. Um, yeah, I know. But I like remote for a couple of reasons. One, it saves me time and money. Two things that are very valuable to me. Time is valuable. Money is valuable. Why do we want money? Well, so that we can have more time for things. That's why do we want more time? Well, because it's a finite resource. Um, so what is your go-to framework for any random app? Angular. For a front end, and Node and Express for the back end with MongoDB. Mongoose. So yeah, so that aspect. It's also very relaxing. You don't have to dress up necessarily. Like, I'm not saying you're gonna dress like a bum. Like, I usually have a collared shirt on for the most part, or I have one of my PWC t-shirts on. Um, but I don't. You don't necessarily need to dress up. Like, when I go into the office, I have shoes on, for instance, and pants and a collared shirt and things that I don't necessarily want to be. Especially, it's so humid and hot, um, and I have to go sit at a desk that isn't mine, that I'm just sort of not bothering, borrowing. So there's that aspect of it. So there's that. Um, yeah. And I mean, think about it like this. So, like, I'm at work, essentially alone, although there's people there. Um, but compared to, I'm at home where my favorite people in the world are my cats, my dogs, and April. And so when I want to take a walk that I would normally take, so I get up and I walk around about once every hour, hour and a half, 5 to 10 minute walk, stretch my knees, whether I'm in the office or at home. I walk down, give April a kiss, play with the puppies for a second, say hi to the cats if they're awake. Yeah. This is a much better environment for me, you know, in that sense, and something I truly do value. And so lunchtime comes around, and April's not always going to be here, but she is right now, and then she's also going to be in coding boot camp for 9 months. So, um, lunchtime comes around, and then here we are, um, here we are having lunch together, for instance, versus I'm having lunch by myself. Occasionally, I eat with my colleagues and whatnot, but no offense to my colleagues or anyone I've ever worked with, but I happen to like my girlfriend more than anybody else. So, not to say I'm avoiding them. That's not what I mean. Um, but yeah, so I get to have lunch with her, spend some time with her. Um, you know, you're just in a much more comfortable environment. So I particularly like remote. Will I work remote my entire career? No, but I am right now. I do think that at some point in your career, as like a tech lead or as a manager or as a director, you kind of need to be in the office because there's a lot of meetings. Once you get into this very meeting heavy dev life, I think a little bit more often you need to be face to face, because part of the thing with meetings is that you're trying to communicate ideas, and oftentimes you are having a dialogue about um, potential solutions and problems, and some things that you may not agree with. And I do think being in there in person helps. For a dev, I don't know. I don't think I need to be there. What do you think about open office plans? So, um, yeah, I used to like them, and I don't anymore. So, like, open office plans are like one of those things that are nice for junior devs, but suck for senior devs. Like, that's sort of how I think about them. It's oftentimes loud, and it's hard to work, and it's I don't know. It's just one of those things, man, where they're cool until they're not. Does that make sense? Like they do benefit, and a lot of companies are open office plans. But you know why I have my office on the second floor in my own house? Because it's too noisy on the first floor with my cats and the dogs and the dishwasher and the vacuum. Now imagine instead of that, I'm in an open office plan where there's 50 employees around me, nothing blocking sound, people, talking, chatting, and you have to have your headphones on just to null the sound so that you can focus. Um, that's an open office plan. And so, as developers, we kind of need focus. We need to not be interrupted, and we need to have time to do what we need to do. Really, I'm very big belief that it takes time to ramp up and it takes time to ramp down. So like I've done it a couple times in my project lately because I got stuck. But professionally, I never and I try not to do it in my personal projects. It's just like I can't be up all night on a personal project and then show up to work and be like, "Yo, dude, I'm dead. I can't do anything because I was up all night working on no." I'm a professional, dude. I go to bed at a normal time and I wake up early at a normal time and I'm rejuvenated and I got my beauty rest. All right. Um, because you are paying me a lot of money and I appreciate it. And I'm going to do a good job for you so that you continue to pay me a lot of money. And in fact, I'm going to do such a good job that you're going to say, I want to pay you more money because we want you to continue to do that same job. That's how I approach being an employee. Now, um, that's my mentality. Now, there's other areas that of being an employee that I may not be very good at, such as being okay working overtime. Part of the reason I don't work overtime is because I give timelines I can meet. Um, I give realistic, users point stories, storyboard points, whatever you want to call them, that I know exactly. It's hard to say exactly, but I know that I put in a hard 8 hours where I'm not in office, at office. I'm actually here at my computer doing it, and I know what I need to get done. I know what I need to do. Cool. So, um, yeah, man. You can't understand how to combine all this stuff. It's a common issue, man. So pan con queso me gusta. What I'd recommend is that you go on Free Code Camp and you go do the basic algorithm scripting section and start practicing that. You could also check out my course, which is the 100 Algorithms Challenge. It's really good for that. You can get it for $9.99 in the description below, or use coupon code Coding God. But you can get it for $9.99, man. And there, it's 100 different JavaScript algorithms where we're working through it, and I give you hints on what is used, so see if you can solve it with that. But if you can't, don't worry. I have videos going over it and explaining how to use it. But I really do think that it's one of those items where you just have to practice, and then you'll start getting it piece by piece. But I think my course will help you a lot. Is it industry standard for devs to work overtime, or is it rare? It's really sort of up to the. I would say that it's a startup standard to work overtime. Me and a colleague of mine were talking the other day about how funny it is at all, like people, because some of us have worked at startups, some of us not. But working at a startup is one of those items where people try to. It's so exciting, this and that. Working at a startup sucks. Working at a startup. Let me say this one more time. Working at a startup sucks. It sucks, guys. It sucks. Okay. You want to see what a startup does? Go watch my boy Joshua Fluke. I got nothing but love for Josh, but Josh is has been burned, and he'll tell you he's been burned. Go watch some of his videos. He's been burned time and time again by a startup and stress and been thrown to the side. I'm not saying bigger companies won't do it, but I am saying that startups are not startups will say, "Hey, well they'll tell you about how great you are, but don't but then they'll hit you with like, "Oh yeah, but then we pay 30K under and we're going to get you some equity that's not going to be worth anything 9 and 10 times." But we got chips and startups um startups will be those ones that work you 60-hour weeks because look they're like, look man, we have a finite amount of money, and every business has a finite amount of money, but they literally have it calculated when they're going out of business. They're like, look, if we don't have money by September in 4 months, if we don't land that deal in September 4 months, everyone's gone. Not I'm gone, you're gone, everyone's gone. 120-hour weeks. Like, that's the startup mentality. Does that not sound stressful to you? I know it sounds stressful to me. So startups not only have worse benefits, truly they do, but they'll have they'll try and say about how many great benefits they have, like, oh well, we have beer on tap. Like, look, dog, I'm not trying to get messed up at work. Like, sure, I'll have like one beer Friday with some colleagues. We serve lunches. Great. Cool. Whatever. What about health insurance? What about 401k? What about, profit sharing? What about bonuses? What about a high salary? What about PTO? Yeah. Ping pong table. I don't care about your ping pong table. What about 20,000 more dollars salary? Like, yeah. So, and then they'll say, don't worry, guys, I know you're all going to work late. We're going to buy you lunch. Oh, or dinner. That's really sweet for you to spend $15 in dinner. But last I checked, 3 to 4 hours of my time is worth $50 an hour. So, like, cool. Is it easier to get into a startup? Depending on the startup, yeah. So, um, but I truly do believe that you sort of work your own overtime. And I've made this mistake in the past. I don't plan to do it again in the future where um, you know, the overtime aspect is really up to you. Um, if you were a lazy coder, say you spent hours hitting on coworkers and talking at the water cooler, would you accept working overtime? Um, yeah, and that's not to say that I haven't worked overtime, but I don't work overtime. Do you understand? Do you understand the difference? Like, there are companies that will drain you dry. Drain you dry. There's a company that I am very good friends with a lot of people where I used to work, and they tell people I left for money, even though I had a 3-page list of things that in my exit interview that I gave. I was like, give me the exit interview questions ahead of time. I'll tell you all the things that you want to do. So I wrote 3 pages of things and gave them honest responses because I wanted to help the team out because I liked all the people I worked with. The company just make bad decisions. But there are certain places that will just, the culture wise, is they're just going to drain you until they can't anymore. I'm convinced this company actually is just trying to get devs to quit so they don't have to pay them. Like that is my current theory. Uh, Interesting podcast. I'm glad you liked it, man. New episodes come out every Monday, and the new episodes are actually going to be whenever they go out on Monday. I don't know what time Monday, but they actually auto go up on the YouTube channel, which is pretty cool. I've been working on a project all day and my brain is fried, man. You know what's funny is I was telling April the other day. So like we do a little bit of of studying right before bed, and like she's like, why do we have to do it before bed? It's like, well, one, that's sort of a time that works for me because I'm getting ready to go to bed, and two, if you can't do this stuff while your brain is jelly, then you don't fully get it. um you know, I can do pretty much my job with one eye closed, and it's closed because I can barely stay awake. Like, I might make some mistakes, but I can do it. And so once you can understand it when you don't have a brain anymore. So are you ever gonna podcast on Google with like for Google? What is fibromyalgia? I don't know what that is. I'm sorry you have it, Byron. Josh is making some killer content, man. I've been watching a lot of his videos. I look forward to my J Fluke. Nah, you just ain't there yet, Code Poppy. You get there, man. You get there where you're. Everyone's at different levels. Like the guy I just nice guy and everything. He's like, I can't figure this out. And I was like, within literally the first 5 minutes, I solved his first bug looking at it, and it's just because I've done it a million times. Like, I know exactly where to look. I know exactly what the issue is. I can so, and I try to explain this to April. Is like, so he's a little farther ahead than where April is, obviously, as he's already in boot camp, but he was doing the same things that April does, where his eyes and his brain make jumps that aren't there. So the jumps are happening, but those jumps aren't there. And so it's because you have to literally look at every character. So a lot of times, what the difference between like an aspiring dev and someone who actually has work experience is, an aspiring dev looks at the whole picture. Like, that's wrong. You need to look at with such detail that you instantly see where something's out of place. So, because everything looks right. You know what I mean? Like, if there's not a underlined squiggly, everything looks right. You're like, yeah, it looks right. Like, no problem. Uh, but you have to gain sort of the eye of, it's not exact. And that's what coding is. It is exact. It's not sort of right. It's either right or it's not right. And syntax errors are easy. Logic errors are where you need to get that sort of, it's exact. Pain all over your body and constant fatigue. Oh my goodness, that sounds exhausting. Hurtful. Have I ever heard of a hackathon? Yeah, I've participated in a few. You know what I want to do one day? I was telling April, like, one of my goals, it's not this year or next year, but one of my goals is actually go do a TED Talk. It just seems like something I need on a resume. Yeah. Oh man. Google Maps. How was your trip to Walmart? Classy. Like, how do you think it was, man? I was just glad I got out of there alive. um, thanks, Rick. I appreciate that, man. I'm just trying to help out. Like, I get it, man. Um, I was talking with Udacity because they're interested in me doing some potential work with them, and they're going through like their content creator questions to see if I'm the right fit. And they're like, what makes you, a good representative for our platform? What makes you really think, are you Udacity's goal of making changing careers and lives? I was like, dude, in 2014 I had made $12,000 as a pizza delivery driver. By 2019 I'll clear 150, and in 2020, if I had to guess, it's going to be 175. 2021, $200,000, and I used all free resources to do it. Once I already got a dev job, like, what do you want? I'd like to create this sort of stuff. Um, like, do you have a better spokesperson than someone who used free resources? I'm sure there's people who use your resources, but I use your free resources as one of my resources to go from pizza delivery driver to developer. So I think I'm an okay cultural fit for your content creation. Like, you signed up for your Udemy course, but I haven't looked at it. Do I just need to do it? I mean, you definitely should do it. That's how you're gonna get good, by doing things, by building things, by doing things. Um, yeah, I'm excited about this LinkedIn stuff. I really hope they let me do my testing courses. That's something I really want to do. What are my goals for what? My goals in IT? Like my goals professionally? God, beer always makes me sleepy, even like half of beer. It's a struggle to drink this nasty one. What am I drinking? Red's Blueberry Ale. It's like an apple-based ale. I don't know. It's not very good. Um, so professionally, I have quite a few goals. I create yearly goals. This year it was to get better benefits professionally, and make my life a little bit easier in that sense. It was also to go to conferences, which I did. It was to speak at a meetup, which I have yet to do, but I have one on the books that I need to create some stuff for, which I should probably message the homie about that. And I also have it was to launch a web application, which we're on track to. I've been hacking out video dev docs, very excited about that. Um, Doing a production based application, front end, back end, the whole shebang. Um, it was to continue doing YouTube, which I did, and it was to do a book, which I didn't finish my book. So the book is going to be the one that falls through the cracks. The meetup one might not be, but yeah. So in 2020, I want to speak at a conference, like an actual conference, not just a meetup. So I want to get a couple of meetups under the belt and get some talks together for a conference. I and I also want to launch one course a year. So I launched my course this year, which is the 100 front end interview questions challenge. Get you prepped for those front end interviews, which is doing very good. And thank you guys for that. I think it's really helping a lot of people. So we're doing that. It is to So not only did we do that, we this coming year, I want to launch another course, speak at some meetups, go to another conference. Like, I want to do one conference a year at the very least, and my current workplace, it sounds, will pay for them. The 100 algorithms, I think, was 2018, the end of 2018. Um, yeah. So I want to do that, and then um, I want to continue expanding on content and we have that in the books for hopefully with LinkedIn and maybe some Scrimba stuff. I'm trying to harass them about it. But I also want to go and become a tech lead or some sort of manager and just keep progressing my career, man. Really, that's it. I want to keep it moving. Like, you know how uncomfortable it is for a lot of people be at a job for 4 months, be like, hey, I saw that position open up. I want to go. I want it. A lot of people wouldn't say that to their boss. I understand. That's an awkward thing. But I'd at least like to try to go and I get, they want twice the amount of experience than I have for a tech lead. But you know who knows JavaScript? I know JavaScript. It's a JavaScript role. And I think I could do very well in it, even in the areas I'm lacking. Because one thing I understand is that I can fill in any gaps that I'm lacking. I bring a lot to the table where I'm not lacking. And so, let's go ahead and reach our hand out. Say, hey, 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 I want that cookie. I want that. I want the cookie in the cookie jar. Uh, so really, it's just keep progressing my career. I want to write a book. I've started a book a couple times. Yeah. So I want to finish. That was supposed to happen this year, but honestly, things take so much longer than you ever expecting. Oh, and the podcast this year. That's one thing that we got done. I'm so glad we did. That was a goal of this year. So the podcast is out, baby. Selftaughtornot.com. So excited that we launched that. And depending on how it does, was like we launched with 24 episodes, and I should message Eric to see if we can record an episode tomorrow. But yeah, so that was a goal of mine as well. And assuming that we do it again, which I think we are, it's doing pretty well. Texting right now. We might do another one next year as well. Like once a year, do 24 episodes. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so in the workplace, I want to, and also I wanted to expand more into the back end, which I have. Um, so continue that. I would say that I might put some time into UI UX. We'll see. Sort of depends. So 2020, I'll probably be doing a video pretty soon, probably in like January or December ish about it. So in 2020, I might dive into UI UX. I'll definitely go to a conference. I'm hoping to speak at a conference and some meetups. I want to do my book that I've been talking about forever. Continue with it. I might even get a co-author with that. I don't know. I want to continue to progress my career, so hopefully I'll be able to get promoted or at least just get a fat raise. Uh, let's see. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think the book is going to be the major thing. And then depending on how Video Dev Docs does with the JavaScript section, probably add HTML, CSS, and continue on that part-time the whole time throughout the year. You know what we could do? We could launch with little shit like Git. You could do all of Git in like 2 hours. Maybe I'll launch with Git. Then I'll launch with JavaScript, but we'll see. We got plans, all right? We out here doing it, getting it done. Have I ever worked with Twilio API? No. How did I open up with people? I'm really introvert person. I can't seem to connect with people. I understand, man. It's a little easier when you're across the internet on a webcam than really doing it. But I'm still an awkward guy, uh, as most developers are. Not everybody, but a portion of us. Um, so what I can say is this: get comfortable. You're gonna make more money. There are literally tens of thousands of dollars of reasons as to why you need to get more comfortable with people. One, the more likable you are, typically the better communicator you are, and the more likable you are, typically the more money you make because you're more likely to get promoted. So be selfish. Go and put yourself in uncomfortable such situations. Um, Two, how do we get there? Well, by realizing it's not as bad as you think it is. Um, you know, and that's why I tell you it's okay to fail and it's okay to give up because um, you need to be able to try things and fail and see what it feels like to fail to realize that failing is not the end all be all. Failing does not make you a failure. What makes you a failure is not going and trying something else. And so like going in these fears of talking to people and being introverted, and I still suffer with it, but it's not as bad as it used to be. And I'm still awkward. Like I got a new teammate like a month ago. He asked me like, "Do you listen to music?" I go, "No, not really." He's like, "I know." He said he asked me about something about music. I was like, "Well, I don't really listen to music." He's like, "You don't listen to music?" And I was like, "Well, sort of, but not what you would listen with. I listen to anime and video game trap remixes." And that pretty much killed the conversation as I knew it would, because it's like unless you're talking to somebody who's a weeb, they wouldn't do that. Am I streaming video dev docs tonight? No, not tonight. I gotta um I have to I gotta work on this deployment issue. I have to figure out if I'm gonna patch something in, or I think I'm gonna give. So I think I'm gonna dedicate about 2 hours tomorrow morning, no live stream, to trying to solve this environment issue. If it's not solved, I don't want to spend, because we've already spent 3 hours on this environment issue live stream. I don't want to spend any more time. So I'm going to spend another 2 hours, and then if I don't have a solution, and I had a hacky solution, I didn't like it. But if I don't have a solution in the next 2 hours, we're gonna call it quits, and we're gonna move on to other things. You think you're this way while delivering pizza, like introverted, or what? How did I handle myself? Dude, I've always been introvert. One of my dad's favorite stories is like my little brother. I was 5 and my brother's like 3, and like I was scared to go up to the window and order a drink. Even though my dad gave me money, I didn't like talking to people, so my little brother did it, and like that's just been my mentality. So it's something I know. So here's the thing: when it comes to being introverted, when it comes to everyone has strengths, everyone has weaknesses, right? Some of my strengths are also my weaknesses. Like I can work a lot. That's a strength. A weakness is I work a lot, and that takes away time from my family. So you have to be able to understand where you have shortcomings. Like I have an addictive personality, so I don't do things that are addictive by nature. Um, so like the one thing that I have done is drink a lot of caffeine. I get addicted to caffeine, where now I'm drinking a couple monsters a day. So I stay away from that. I don't really drink alcohol because I have addictive personality. I've never had an alcohol problem or anything like that, but I am aware that I have addictive personality. Like if I started playing World of Warcraft again, and mind you, I don't even really like the game that much, but one of the reasons I don't play video games all that much No, I should say rephrase it. One of the reasons I play single player video games that have endings is because they end. Because if they don't, 2,000 games of League of Legends later, and 2 years later, I've done nothing with my life. I understand the shortcomings I have as an individual, and I understand how sometimes those can be strengths, sometimes those can be weaknesses. I understand I am an introvert, and I understand that I need to overcome that. And I do my best. I keep trying, and try to move forward. And you know, do I always fail? No. April the other day, I told you guys about how I flew her sister and her boyfriend down. She was like, "Are you gonna be okay? Are you gonna be talkative? You gonna talk with him? Or are you just gonna be awkward and make it uncomfortable? I don't even want to come out if you're making them awkward and uncomfortable." I was like, "No, I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna have conversations. I'm gonna do my best. I don't want you being judgmental." So like, so she thinks I'm a little judgmental at times because like I've I've pulled myself out of the gutter. And I'm not saying I didn't get help along the way or anything like that, but I know what it's like to go from being hungry, sleeping on floors, to renting rooms out in houses and getting a brand new house and having money in the bank. I can tell that's been my reality for the last 6 years. Is I understand going from nothing to financial stability. And I understand what it takes to get there. And so sometimes she thinks I'm a little unreasonable with stuff like that. And so I understand my shortcomings as an individual. I was interviewing with Riot Games, and they he asked me what's one character flaw of yours, and I said I'm too honest, which is true. I am brutally honest to a T. I cannot help myself but to tell you an honest answer, and so I have had to force myself because I think most people aren't honest enough, and so like I think this is something we need to all be is just be honest with each other, man. If if someone's doing something stupid, let them know they're doing something stupid. So what I've had to do over the years is have a little bit more tact. You can't go, "Hey man, this code is dog shit." I said that to one of my coworkers is kind of a friend who was learning front end, and I was like, just we were pair programming, and I was like, I was coding with them, and I was like, "Yeah, man, you can't do it like this. 'Cause it's dog shit." He's like, "You really gonna call dog shit code?" I was like, there's room for improvement. Like that's what I'm saying. You have to have tact with these sorts of things because um people, you don't want to upset people, and you want people to grow. And so I understand that I have to be tactful. Um so when I say, "Hey, let's do it this way and this is why." That why is very important. Just don't yell at people to do things. Doesn't work out. Um Did I meet people about software? So yeah, I used to go to meetups. Um, I would just go, and I was awkward. Um, but I'd go. I'd meet people. I'd try and talk to people. Um, yeah, it was awkward, but I go. I enjoy it, and it got less awkward. And I started meeting the same people. Start remembering people. I mean, you seem very humble. My problem is I literally know small amounts about things and not a lot about one thing in coding. Well, Edward, let me put it this way. So did I. so, so like, um, that's how you start learning a lot of little things, and eventually you memorize a lot of little things, and then you start becoming learning a lot about a lot of things, and then you start learning a lot about other things, and then you realize um, that you know a lot, and and a lot of times a lot of people else don't, unfortunately. um, and one of the things that has made me very successful in my career is taking the time to learn things and not memorize things, and taking the time to understand things and not just use things. um, you'd be surprised how often when I talk to junior developers that they say this is how it works, this is what you do, and then you would say, well, why do you do it? 99% of the time they can't tell you why. I can tell you why. And I can tell you, like, even though I don't do React, I was able to solve 2 of this guy's bugs in 10, 15 minutes because I understand how single page applications work and I understand JavaScript. And a lot of developers, when they're getting going, when they jump straight into bootcamp, they just understand React, but they don't understand SPAs and they don't understand JavaScript. They don't understand these things. And that, I'm not saying that they necessarily should at their type of careers, but a lot of people never take the time to sit down, pull back, and say, do I just understand React? Or do I understand how single page applications work? Do I understand how object oriented programming works? Do I understand how MVC works? Do I understand how they're different? Do I understand how they're alike? And understanding why will make you a much better dev. And that's been where I've been successful, is taking the time to do that. You don't have time to understand why? I'm not, yeah, I understand during boot camp, but Tay Oracle, what's your excuse when you have 5 years of experience? What's your excuse when you have 10 years of experience? What is your excuse? And the answer is nothing. You can give your excuse, well, I got kids, I got dogs, you know, like I got a daughter, well, I got 3 cats, I got a wife, I got a girlfriend in 10 years, probably been longer than you've been married. so, uh, so there, yeah, I got to play Halo, rank 1, baby. I was talking to April the other day about one thing I miss is competition. Um, and it's like not in like professional sense, but I miss competing, and that was one thing I liked about playing ranked video games so much. And I've stayed away from it because, again, I understand that that's not how I want to spend my time. But I really miss playing competitively, like games. And so I don't know. I told April when I retire at 40, let's go retire by 40. That if I'm able to actually do that, which is what I'm trying to do, but I think kids are going to throw a whole wrench into that plan. That I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be a 40-year-old Hearthstone or League of Legends player or something. I'll be the only 40-year-old pro Fortnite player. I don't play Fortnite. I don't understand it. I don't like the building mechanic of it. I just think the building mechanic of it's wonky. It looks annoying. It's spazzy. Yeah, no, I have no interest in doing competitive programming. No. Yeah. So I miss competition. But when I so part of the reason I'm doing a very strong push over the next 2-3 years is in 2021, 2022, April and I are gonna have kids, which isn't too far away, year and a half to 2.5 years. Um, assuming she doesn't get angry and leave my ass one of these times. so uh, that's a joke, I hope. But yeah, so I'm making a very strong push to prep myself financially, emotionally, because I do realize the time commitment. I have friends with kids and they don't have any time. Um, so make a strong push for that. We'll see though. I don't know. Anyhow, guys, we've been going about an hour. This has been more of a live stream about me. This is really sort of your time to ask questions, and hopefully I can provide you some direction. But it's time for me to go. I have to film. Uh, I have to try and solve this deployment issue, environment issue, and then I have to do some mentoring tomorrow, and then a couple other things. But with all that being said, I wish you best of luck in your coding journeys. If you're interested in any of my courses, such as the 100 Algorithm Challenge to prep you for those whiteboard interviews, or the 100 Front End Technical Interview Questions to prep you for your front end technical screens, you can get them in the description for $9.99. I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Hey, Gator. You want to say hi, Gator? Come here, Gator. Come here, buddy. Gator wants to say hi. Come on. Oh, big boy. Okay, Gator. Oh. Say bye-bye, Gator. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye, Gator. Okay. Bye-bye.